So, good day, everyone. So, today we will explore one of the most influential and widely used developmental theories in psychology, which is the Erik Erikson's psychosocial theory of development. So, again, we familiarize yourselves about the theory of Erik Erikson's because uh, this will help you in your future subjects or major subjects. So, this theory explains how human beings grow socially and emotionally and psychologically across their entire lifespan. So, Erickson believed that from infancy to old age, we faced eight stages of developmental stages. And each stage involves what we call the psychosocial crisis that we must resolve. So, when resolved successfully, we develop the positive trait called the virtue. But if not, we may experience difficulties that affect our later development. That is the malignancy, too little of the positive or too much of the negative, and maladaptation, too much of the positive and too little of the negative. So again, according to Eric Erickson, we have what we call the psychosocial crisis. So that is something that the child must overcome. So we have also the virtue that is the positive trait formed if successful, and we have the maladaptation that is the too much of the positive. When we say malignancy, that is the too much of the negative. So Erickson believed that the development follows the what we call the epigenetic principles. So when we see epigenetic principles, meaning each stage builds upon the previous one. So just like here, you cannot skip a stage. Earlier experiences shape later development. So, for example, here in the eight stages, a child who does not develop trust in the infancy may grow up anxious and suspicious, make it harder to form the relationship in adult. So here are the eight stages that we will discuss, each with its crisis and outcome. So we will examine each stage more deeply with a real life examples. So in here we have age 1 until 1.5 year. So infants depend entirely on the caregivers. So in here we call it the trust versus mistrust. So when needs such as the food, the comfort, and the affections are consistently met, the child develops the trust and gains hope, believing that the world is safe. If the caregivers are inconsistent, or neglectful, the child develops the mistrust, leading to withdrawal or fear. So, for example, a baby cries at night. So, if the parents respond by comforting and feeding the baby learns when I need something, someone will help me. And on the other hand, if the parent ignores the baby often, the infant learns that the world is unpredictable, I can't rely on anyone. So he or she might develop the mistrust or withdrawal that is too much, and the sensory maladjustment that is the maladaptation. So maladjustment. So if naging successful during this stage, the child will develop hope that is his or her virtue. Next is the stage 2, which is the autonomy versus shame and doubt, that is 18 months to 3 to 4 years old. So the children start doing things on their own, choosing clothes, feeding themselves, walking, exploring. So supportive caregivers encourage independence. So building the autonomy, and the virtue will be the willpower. So on the other hand, overly harsh or restrictive or controlling caregivers cause the shame and doubt, making the child question in their ability. So, for example, a toddler wants to put on their shoes. So, if you, the parent, says, you can do it, I'll help you, or if you need me, you can call me, this builds independence, that is the autonomy. If the parents is very strict that says you're too slow, stop trying and let me do it, the child may feel ashamed or doubt their capability. So for the malignancy, he or she might develop compulsiveness. On the other hand, is the impulsive. Next is the stage three, which is the initiative versus guilt. This happens during age 3 to 6 years old. So children begin to initiate activities, drawing, making up stories, or playing pretend when encouraged. So they develop the initiative or what we call the courage. This is the virtue of this stage. On the other hand, naman, if you scold your child for asking questions or making mistakes, they may develop guilt, feeling that their ideas are wrong. So, for example, you have a child, and your child says that I want to help to cook or I want to help in doing the dishes. If the parent says, or if you says that, sure, hold the spoon, let's do it together, the child feels empowered. So, if the parent says naman, stop bothering me, just go there and play, you're just making a mess, the child may feel guilty or guilty for trying. So he or she might develop an inhibition and rootlessness. Next is stage four, which is industry versus inferiority. This happens between age 6 to 12 years old. So children learn skills such as reading, writing, sports, problem solving. So in here, in this stage, encouragement leads to industry or competence. If your child lack praises or constant comparison to other children, this might lead to inferiority. So, for example, if your child receive praises for their efforts, for their improvement, or for their achievements, they learn that I can achieve things if I will try. So that is when the industry develops. If the child naman is repeatedly told that your classmates are smarter, and negative attitudes or negative thoughts, they may feel inferior and avoid challenges in the future. So, if too much malignancy, it is inertia, and then maladaptation, that is narrow verticosity. Next is we have the stage five, that is the identity versus role confusion. So adolescents begin exploring personal values, their future careers, their beliefs, and identity. So success leads to ego identity, and the virtue will be the fidelity, that is a strong sense of self. If naman is confusion or pressure or lack of guidance, this may cause the role confusion to a child. For example, a teenager tries to join a clubs or a sports, music, or volunteering to discover their interests. With the family support, they build a strong identity. But if the teen is forced to follow a career path that they don't want, they may feel lost and unsure of who they are. So that's what happened in the role confusion. So for malignancy, we have the repudiation, and for the maladaptation, the fanaticism. Next is we have the stage six, which is the intimacy versus isolation. That happens between 18 to 30 years old. So the young adults seek meaningful romantic and platonic relationships at this age. So successful bonding leads to intimacy. That is the virtue of love. So the fear of rejection or unresolved identity issues can lead to isolation. So, for example, you are a mature young adult. So, you are between 18 to 30 years old. So, you form a healthy romantic relationship that is based on trust and communication. That is why it is very important that in the later stages you develop your virtue from the very beginning, from the trust versus mistrust. So For example naman, for the isolation, if you have fear of being a vulnerable, you may avoid commitments and choose isolation instead. So you may ask yourself why you're still single at this age. Maybe um you develop the isolation. Okay. Next po is the stage 7, which is the generativity versus stagnation. So the adults aim to contribute to society. So at this age, we can contribute na to the society, teach other people, mentor other people, or care for our family. So success in this stage can lead to generativity, and for the virtue, we have the care. So lack of accomplishment or purpose leads to stagnation. So that is feeling of unproductive or disconnected. So for example, you are already in your middle age. You volunteer, you are teaching young kids, your colleagues, or you are now parents. You raise a children with dedication and passion. So this gives fulfillment. So that is what we call the generativity. On the other hand, when you are someone naman who feels they have not achieved anything meaningful, or you feel stuck or purposeless, you are in the stagnation. Okay po. So, in too much malignancy, you develop rejectivity and overextension. So for the last stage, this happens during 60 and above, the older adults. So when you are adults now, or you are older adult, you reflect to your life what happened in the past. If you feel satisfied and you accept all those experiences, you achieve the integrity and the virtue of wisdom. If your life is viewed with regrets or disappointment, you develop the despair. So for example, is you are a person who looks back happily saying, I live a good life, I did my best, that shows integrity. But the person who regrets missed opportunities or unresolved relationships may experience despair or bitterness. So in malignancy, we have disdain and we have the maladaptation, we have the presumption. So overall, the Erickson 8 stages reminds us that development is a lifelong process. So every stage presents opportunities for growth, learning, and healing. So understanding these stages help educators, parents, or psychologists and caregivers provide appropriate support at each phase of life. So this is just a piece of advice. If you are a parent and you have a child, try to develop. You are the biggest factor in their development. Just like what I've discussed in the trust versus mistrust, if they develop trust, the positive virtues will follow in the next stages of their development. So, at their very young age, try to nurture them with your love so they will grow up that thinking that the world is safe for them. So, that's all for Eric Erickson psychosocial theory. So, for our performance task, don't forget to write your name and your cluster in the comment section. We have to summarize the lecture today in just 5 to 6 sentences in paragraph form. So, again, thank you very much for listening. So, I hope you understand and you learned something from today's discussion.